May 18, 1991, high above the deserts of Kazakhstan, beneath a sky so clear it looked almost unreal, a man sat strapped inside a Soyuz capsule, waiting for ignition. His name was Sergei Krikalev, a veteran engineer, a disciplined cosmonaut, a man trained to survive the impossible. But on that day, even he had no idea he was about to become the loneliest human in history. At exactly 9:50 am, engines ignited. The ground shook. Flames tore through the launch pad. And within minutes, Krikalev was gone, rising above Earth, above nations, above politics, above history itself. His mission was simple: travel to the Mir space station, spend 5 months in orbit, run experiments, return home. That was the plan. But plans on Earth were already breaking. Far below him, the Soviet Union was cracking apart, protests were spreading, leaders were turning against each other, the economy was collapsing, and the empire Sergei had spent his entire life serving was dying. But up there, none of that felt real. From orbit, Earth looked peaceful, silent, whole, no borders, no war, no collapse. Just one blue world. And Sergei kept working, day after day, orbit after orbit, watching sunrises every 90 minutes, completely unaware that with every lap around Earth, the world he came from was disappearing. And then, one day, the message came. His return had been delayed. At first, just a little, a few extra weeks. Nothing unusual, but those weeks would become months, and those months would turn into one of the strangest survival stories in human history. Because while Sergei was trapped in space, his country would cease to exist. And soon, there would be no one left to bring him home. Before space made him a legend, Sergei Krikalev was just an engineer. Quiet, precise, relentlessly disciplined. Born in Leningrad in 1958, Sergei grew up in a world obsessed with conquering the stars. The Soviet Union didn't just see space as exploration. It saw it as power, victory, proof of superiority. And becoming a cosmonaut? That meant surviving one of the most brutal selection systems on Earth. Thousands applied. Only a handful survived. Sergei wasn't chosen because he was loud or charismatic. He was chosen because he was almost machine-like. Calm under pressure. Emotionally stable. Technically brilliant. The kind of man who could solve problems while suffocating. And that mattered. Because life aboard Mir was war against chaos. Fire, equipment failure, oxygen leaks, mental collapse, every day in space was survival. So the Soviets trained their men to endure hell. Isolation chambers, sleep deprivation, extreme G-forces, emergency simulations where death felt seconds away. They pushed the human mind until it cracked and studied who could still function afterward. Sergei always did. Again and again and again. That's why when mission planners needed someone for one of Mir's hardest rotations, they chose him. Because Sergei Krikalev wasn't just good at surviving space. He was built for it. But there was one thing no training could prepare him for. Not fire, not vacuum, not mechanical failure, but abandonment. Because while Sergei was becoming the perfect cosmonaut, the nation that created him was collapsing in silence. And very soon, that collapse would reach orbit. While Sergei Krikalev floated peacefully above Earth, below him, history was tearing itself apart. By the summer of 1991, the Soviet Union was bleeding from the inside. Its economy was collapsing. Food shortages spread through cities. Banks were failing. Factories were shutting down. And for millions of people, the future had become terrifyingly uncertain. But in orbit, none of that could be heard. No riots, no hunger, no fear, only silence. Every 90 minutes, Sergei watched the sun rise over Earth, 16 times a day. A perfect planet. Beautiful, whole, untouched, but it was an illusion. Because on August 19th, 1991, everything changed. Hardline Soviet leaders launched a coup. Tanks rolled into Moscow. Troops surrounded government buildings. The world held its breath. For 3 days, nobody knew if civil war had begun. From space, Sergei watched the Earth below, but he had no idea that his own government was fighting for survival. Back on Earth, mission control was chaos. Budgets froze. Orders changed. Communications became uncertain. The system keeping Mir alive was beginning to fracture. And space is expensive. Very expensive. When nations start dying, space becomes the first thing they stop caring about. Then came the unthinkable. By December 1991, the Soviet Union officially ceased to exist. Gone. A superpower erased, 15 nations born from its ashes. And somewhere above them, still circling Earth, was Sergei Krikalev, a man launched by a country that no longer existed, a man with no nation beneath him, and suddenly, bringing him home became far more complicated than anyone expected. Because now, nobody could even agree who owned the spacecraft, or who would pay for his return. And for the first time, Sergei began to understand something terrifying. He wasn't just delayed. He might be stranded. By December 26, 1991, the Soviet Union was officially gone. 70 years of power, erased. Its flag lowered for the last time, its government dissolved, its economy shattered. And 400 kilometers above Earth, Sergei Krikalev was still orbiting, still working, still waiting. But now, there was a problem no one had planned for. Who was responsible for bringing him home? The spacecraft? Owned by one government. The funding? Controlled by another. The launch facilities? Now inside newly independent Kazakhstan. And the space program itself? Barely holding together. The system Sergei trusted was breaking apart beneath him. At first, mission control stayed calm. They told him to continue. Stay focused. Maintain routine. A replacement crew would come soon. But behind those calm voices, panic was growing. Because launching a mission cost millions. And Russia didn't have the money. Inflation was exploding. People were losing their savings overnight. Entire industries were collapsing. And space had become a luxury no one could afford. Then came a desperate solution. To keep the program alive, Russia began selling seats on future missions. One seat was sold to Austria, not for science, for cash. That meant Sergei's replacement had to wait. Which meant Sergei had to stay. Longer, and longer, and longer. What was supposed to be 5 months was becoming nearly a year. His body was weakening, his muscles shrinking, his bones losing density. But worse than that, his mind was changing. Because in space, time doesn't feel normal. Days blur together. Weeks vanish. And loneliness becomes something physical, like a weight pressing against your chest. For Sergei, Earth was no longer home. It was just something he watched. Far away, untouchable, and every orbit brought the same terrifying thought: what if no one ever came? At first, Sergei Krikalev treated the extra days like a routine extension. More experiments, more maintenance, more waiting. That's what training taught him. Stay focused, stay logical, keep moving. But space has a way of changing time. Without weather, without crowds, without day or night, the mind begins to drift. On Earth, life is measured by moments. A conversation, a meal, a sound in the distance. But aboard Mir, there was only repetition. The same walls, the same alarms, the same mechanical hum, every single day. Again and again and again. At first, Sergei counted the days. Then he stopped. Because numbers stopped meaning anything. Weeks blurred together like one endless stretch of metal corridors and artificial light. And the silence became louder. Not true silence. Mir was never silent. Fans roared, pumps vibrated, metal creaked. But human silence, that was different. No laughter, no footsteps, no touch, no presence, only his own breathing. And in that kind of isolation, the mind starts doing strange things. Psychologists call it sensory deprivation. The brain begins filling the emptiness. Small sounds feel louder, shadows feel alive, thoughts become heavier. Sergei later admitted something chilling. He began talking to himself, not to stay entertained, but to hear a human voice, his own. Because after months alone, even your own voice starts sounding unfamiliar. He watched Earth pass beneath him, cities glowing in the darkness, millions of people living entire lives below. Falling in love, eating dinner, fighting, laughing, sleeping, and up here, he was frozen, outside of time, a spectator to humanity, close enough to see everything, too far to touch any of it. And then something worse happened. The calls from Earth changed. Shorter, colder, less personal. Mission control no longer sounded like family. They sounded like procedure. And that terrified him. Because if the voices on the ground stopped caring, what happened next? Up there, in the black silence between worlds, Sergei began to feel something far more dangerous than fear. He began to feel forgotten. By now, Sergei Krikalev had been in space far longer than anyone originally planned. What was meant to be 5 months had become 10. And space was collecting its price. His muscles were shrinking. Without gravity, the human body begins to decay. Legs weaken, the spine stretches, bone density drops, up to 1% every month. The body starts forgetting Earth. Every day, Sergei forced himself through brutal exercise. Hours of resistance training. Cycling, treadmills strapped to the walls. Not to get stronger, just to stop falling apart. But even that wasn't enough. Radiation exposure was building. Far above much of Earth's protection, every orbit meant more invisible damage. Tiny particles tearing through cells. Unseen, unstoppable. And then there was the station itself. Mir was aging. It groaned. It shook. Systems failed. Air filters clogged, water systems malfunctioned, power flickered. Every strange sound could mean disaster. And when you're alone, there's nobody to help. Nobody to check if you're overreacting. Nobody to tell you it's going to be okay. One night, Sergei woke to an alarm, sharp, violent, echoing through the station. A pressure warning. For a moment, he thought the hull had been breached. That one tiny crack could mean death in seconds. He rushed through the corridors, heart pounding, hands shaking, searching for the source. But it was a sensor fault, just another machine breaking. Still, after months of isolation, that fear stayed. Because now, he understood something. He was one malfunction away from dying alone. And Earth could do nothing. By the time rescue was finally being planned, Sergei's greatest fear wasn't staying. It was leaving. Because after 300 days in orbit, returning to gravity could kill him too. His body had adapted to space. His legs might not hold him. His heart might fail under Earth's weight. And for the first time, the journey home felt just as dangerous as being stranded. March 25, 1992, after 311 days in orbit, it was finally over. A Soyuz TM-13 capsule locked onto Mir. For the first time in nearly a year, Sergei Krikalev had a way home. But leaving wasn't relief. It was fear. Because after 311 days in zero gravity, his body no longer belonged to Earth. His muscles had weakened, his bones had thinned, his heart had adapted to weightlessness. Gravity was no longer natural. It was dangerous. The hatch sealed, the engines fired, and slowly, Mir disappeared into darkness behind him. For months, it had been his prison. Now it was the only home he recognized. The descent began. The capsule slammed into Earth's atmosphere. Fire wrapped around it. Temperatures outside soared past 1,500 degrees. Inside, Sergei could feel the crushing return of gravity. Heavy, violent, unforgiving, every breath became work. Every second felt endless. Then impact. The capsule crashed into the frozen plains of Kazakhstan. Silence. For a moment, nothing moved. Rescue teams rushed in. They opened the hatch. And there he was, pale, thin, barely able to stand. The man who left Earth as a Soviet citizen had returned to a completely different world. The Soviet Union was gone, its flag gone, its government gone, its money worthless, its identity erased. He launched from one country and landed in another. Even his salary, nearly a year of work in orbit, had become almost meaningless, destroyed by hyperinflation. And when he looked around at the faces waiting for him, the world felt unfamiliar, like he had traveled through time, not space. Because while Sergei was surviving alone above Earth, history had moved on without him. And the strangest part? For everyone else, life had continued. But for Sergei Krikalev, the world he left behind was dead.ed. In the years that followed, Sergei Krikalev rarely spoke dramatically about what happened. No anger, no bitterness, no public breakdown. Just facts. That was always his way. But the facts alone were enough to disturb the world. He had spent 311 days in orbit, watching his country disappear beneath him, watching history rewrite itself while he remained frozen above it. And somehow, he survived. Not just physically, mentally, because that was the real battle. Space can starve the body, but isolation starves the mind. And Sergei endured something very few humans ever have: true separation from civilization. No streets, no touch, no human presence, just metal walls and the endless black. And yet, he came back. Years later, he would return to space again. Not because he had to, because he chose to. As if the void that once trapped him had become part of him. His total time in space would eventually exceed 800 days. A record that proved something extraordinary. Sergei Krikalev wasn't broken by isolation. He mastered it. But his story remains one of the strangest in human history. A man launched by a superpower, forgotten by politics, trapped above a collapsing world, and returned to find time itself had moved on. People call space the most dangerous place in existence. The vacuum, the radiation, the cold. But maybe the most dangerous thing up there is loneliness. Because out in the silence between worlds, you are forced to face the one thing no one can escape: yourself. And for 311 days, Sergei Krikalev did exactly that. Alone, above Earth, watching everything change. Without him,